Hello, everybody. So, how is everybody doing today? So I wanted to show the CBT. It's called the CBT Deck, and I got this a long time ago, and I have not really put forth the thought to use it or anything like that. And so I'm deciding this year I am going to put these kind of things that I have bought and spend my money on into practice. And so for example, on the front of the deck, it says the CBT deck for clients and therapists. Um, Practices to improve thoughts, be in the moment, and take action in your life. And it has three different cards, different types of cards in it. And it comes with this little instruction guide. And on it, it says cognitive behavior therapy is a practice and action oriented approach for quickly building positive emotions and meaningful engagement in your life. You'll find three powerful types of practices in the CBT deck. And so it says there's think, act, and be. Think is cognitive strategies for training your thoughts to serve you well. ACT is behavioral techniques for choosing action that build the life you want to live. And B is mindfulness practices for experiencing greater presence and connection in each moment. And so the cards, there are 101. The cards look like this. So this is the B set of cards. It has B on the back. Um, and then there is act, and then there is think. And so if I flip over one of the think cards, it says problems as opportunities. It says it is nearly inevitable that you'll experience a problem you weren't expecting today. Prepare yourself to welcome this event rather than seeing it as something that shouldn't have happened. Keep in mind that life is a continual stream of challenges that you have what you need to handle them. And so that is the think card, and it's kind of reminding us something that is definitely true, that we are going to face challenges in life. They may happen today, they may happen tomorrow, but the good thing to know is that you do have the answers with inside you. One of the things that happens with us is that emotion regulation and reasonable thinking, and we have to be able to find a good way to be in balance with them. And that's why I like DBT, which is dialectic behavior therapy, because it talks about those three states of mind, where it is, emotion mind, wise mind in the middle, and logical mind, and things like that. So having wise mind in the middle means being able to see yourself as a person that can have an influence on their environment, and everything you do is from a state of preparation, and a state of knowing, and just finding that looking at, okay, what's the emotion here, what's the logical thing to do here, and bringing them both in the middle. One of the practices that's very important in dialectic behavior therapy and in CBT is the B skills. And the B skills, BE just means be, it means exist. It means be proud that you are alive and that you are there. You belong in the space that you are in. And if you find that you don't belong in that space that you're in, and that environment that you're in is not serving your purpose, then there's a way to move to a better environment that will um, respect your existence, and love you and care for you, and treat you the way that you need to be treated. But one of the B cards I just flipped over says, see a loved one. So it says, the better we know someone, the easier it is to stop. Huh? The better we know someone, the easier it is to stop seeing them. As you sit with someone you care about today, take in the person you see. Oh, I get it. Okay, take in the person you see. Notice their eyes, their hair, and the way they move and talk. Consider the unlikely circumstances into that brought them into your life. There's no need to try to feel anything in particular, just observe. Um, so at first I was thrown off when I was reading it, but this is definitely a really, really interesting thing to do. And sometimes I do it when I work with sometimes I do it when I work with my teens, because they come in and they're like, my parents this, or my friends that, or my this that. And sometimes I ask them to observe the person that they're talking about, to see what their personality is like, what their character is like, what they're expecting from this person, what this person is expecting from them. I also do this when I talk to adults, and I talk to them about anything that's going on in their family with their siblings, or sometimes things are going on at work, and things like that. And I would ask them to observe the person that they're having the most trouble with, and they look at that person. Okay, what is this person's personality like? How do they interact with other people? What do people see in them that they like? What do people see in them that is challenging? What do you see in them that is so challenging to you, and things like that? And just with that observation, we can learn so much about somebody, and we can then start to say, okay, how do I problem solve this? How do I work through some of these issues that I'm experiencing with this person? Because when you look at the facts, there might be some legitimate behaviors that this other person is doing to you, but you have to find yourself in wise mind in the middle, in order to be able to say to yourself, okay, now that I'm observing this thing and I'm seeing this thing, how do I get through it? How do I move, to a good point in this place that I'm in with this person? Um, the next skill is act. And when I turn this open, it says open to joy. Lift the corner of your mouth into a slight smile. Now think of ways to inject some of the fun into your day. It's easy to lose our sense of playfulness when we're busy and stressed, and we can move through entire days in a constant state of seriousness. Adopt a lighter touch, even with your stress and responsibilities, as you make room for play. And I think that is something that is so important to ward of things like anxiety and depression, and all of those different things that may, kind of plague us, and things like that. So that is the CBT deck. And I plan to use this a lot more in this coming year, um, and just to just beef up things for myself, for the clients that I work with. Um, and even sometimes for people that I know. So hopefully this has been something that is interesting to you. Where did I find this deck? I found this deck on Amazon, and you can find it. I don't think you can find it in stores actually, but I've never looked in stores. But I did find this deck on Amazon. Um, but if you think that you'll find it helpful, go on there and look through and see what interesting things they have out there for the general public, because not everything that is out there that's therapeutic is just for counselors to put in practice with their clients. It can also be a therapeutic tool for you as an individual, who want to improve your mental health, can go through and use. And so on the instructions, it does say choose one card um, per day to kind of go through and spend time focusing on that skill. And so I would say, you have to know yourself and see how long it takes you to learn and implement things. They usually say in order to implement a skill, you have to practice it over and over and over again. And so choosing a card, you may choose a card and say, okay, I'm going to spend 1 week with this card. You may choose a card and say, I'm going to spend 3 days with this card, and just really going through it. If you get a card like that observing people strategy, you can take that and you could spend months and months upon that, because how many people do we know? Like a ton, between family, between friends, between the coworkers that we work with, and all of those things. There are tons and tons of people. So you can spend a long time with one card, Um, you could use these cards for journaling. So you could take this card, spend a couple of days with it, and then at the end of, before you put it back in the pile, you can do some journaling that's related to that. Especially those observe cards. You can kind of write what you observed and, feelings that came up, thoughts that came up, ways that you interpreted situations, and all of those kind of things. So get a deck, go through it. It'll improve your mental health. This can be used for families. So as a whole family, you and the kids and everybody can come in, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, everybody can do this together to strengthen your family, and things like that. So I will leave this with you. Leave in the comments ways that you strengthen your relationships with people, ways that you strengthen your relationships with yourself and your environment. Remember that we can be a huge influence on our environment, either by the things that we give or by removing ourselves completely. We can be an influence on our environment. So, thank you guys, and I will talk to you another day.